Good afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. But it's a thing we want you to tune into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elsa McGee, your host, and I'm here with my sidekick, my partner Tony. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good.
And man, we had a fire membership meeting today. You know, we just came in from Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 1118 monthly membership meeting, where we talked about all things veterans the way we normally do, but today our focus was on the PACT Act. Man, that's something. The PACT Act was actually drama unfolding in our face. A couple of weeks ago, the Republicans blocked it. They didn't mean to do it. They didn't mean to do it. But they heard a couple of veterans on the national level screaming, hollering, and the fastest turnaround in the history of the U.S. government. They turned it around and they voted in the law, and the president is about to sign it if he hadn't already signed it, Tony. And the secretary is already talking about expediting these benefits. Now, this is the largest expansion of VA benefits in the history of the VA. Meaning that the PACT Act is something that covers all generations from the Vietnam War up to, well, from the Korean War, from Korea all the way up to present times. And that's what we want to see. You know, the consistency of that law points out that we are one military and we are one service, and veterans need to understand that. And we got all these benefits. Now they expanded several benefits, new presumptives for Agent Orange list. They got burn presumptives. They got radiation assumptions. They got all kind of good stuff in this law. But let me tell you straight up, they didn't go for enough, Tony.
Right.
You know, they left out 35 locations, and a lot of those locations are military bases in this country where veterans serve. They're getting sick and they're dying, and their families need to have better care than they're getting. So this is something that we got to talk about. You know, we want to talk about the PACT Act now, but we want to talk about this briefly. We need to talk with our senators about amending this act before we go to the poll in November. Straight up. I'm so glad that to see this act become law and all the good stuff that's in it. But then when I look at all the good stuff in it, I still see some veterans being denied their benefits. And if you deny one veteran, that's one veteran too many. So we got to make sure that our senators, Walnoff and Ossoff, I hope you're listening, or your staff is listening to the show, because we're coming at you this week to make sure that you understand that we appreciate the good things in the act, but didn't go for enough. You know, we got people that served in Okinawa. We got people that served at Fort Gordon, and we know that they know that stuff was there. And I don't know why they would overlook these veterans. You know, we got to make sure that all veterans are getting their benefits the way they deserve to get them. And these are 35 different locations that was not even in the bill that they just passed. So we're gonna get busy making sure that those veterans that are qualified for the benefits that they just expanded, that we gonna set up, Tony, where we're going full steam ahead to help them get these benefits.
Yeah.
You want to say something?
Yeah, I think this is one of those situations where once all the veterans look at this list and they realize that they were left off the list, we won't be the only ones petitioning our congressman. They will be from all over the country petitioning their congressman to include those locations.
Yes. Because they are many veterans now. A lot of, and what makes it so bad, Tony, some veteran, I'm gonna just talk about one of our guys, Robert Dickerson. Well, his case is still alive. We got a hearing coming up in September. He was in Okinawa. Now they have actually approved some cases for Okinawa exposures, but why didn't they put it in the bill?
Yeah.
You know, this is something that we need to ask the senators. Why did you overlook these guys? What make them less deserving than the rest of us? This is Veterans Talk. We here veterans talking to veterans and the community about all things veterans. we are looking at all this new law and what it means. It means that those veterans that served in the Vietnam era and Korea, I keep good because they did Korea too, you know, so that, and you have hypertension, and I know a lot of y'all got hypertension now. You can now get a disability from VA based on that exposure to Agent Orange. This is historical. And I know that a lot of people ain't listening to the show, but you need to go call somebody that know a veteran that served in Vietnam or Korea and some of the other stations. Now, we're going to be talking about the other locations because there are several locations besides Vietnam, and some of them was on ships, the blue water veterans. So they're included in that. Right now, if you got hypertension and you've been exposed to Agent Orange, it's a presumption that you are disabled, and you will be able to get compensation for your disability. Now let me say this, medicals matter. This is where medicals matter most. We got a lot of hypertension. Some people got what you call severe hypertension, and that severe hypertension leads to heart attacks and strokes. If you've had a stroke or a heart attack as a result of hypertension, you're in the high category and possibly could get up to 100% disability. So we're looking at things that your household been dealing with, that you've been dealing with, your family been dealing with. Now we're set up to help you get these benefits. That's what we do. We're doing right now, because we're starting off, we kind of low on staff, but we're at Club E, 3707 Main Street in College Park, Georgia. We'll be there on Mondays from 10 to 2, Wednesdays from 11 to 2, and Fridays from 10 to 2, doing intakes. And we're going to make sure that you get all the information you need. If you have to talk with somebody about setting up an appointment, you can call me at 770-895-3260. Or Tony, you can give them your number too.
You can call, area code 404-822-2056.
Now, I don't want y'all to hesitate. Tony is also over the Sons of Atlanta project, so if you want to make a donation while you talking to Tony, you can do that too. You can't make the donation through me. I'm going to refer you to Tony anyway, because he's the treasurer. So if you want to make a donation for the Sons of Atlanta project, you can talk with Tony. But if you're just trying to get your benefits, you can call Tony and he's going to refer you to me. Right. But you can call me directly, and we're going to make sure that you get your application in for these benefits. And we're ready to start Monday. So if you want to get started, you're going to call, get an appointment, and come on down to Club E Complex, Club E Atlanta Complex, right in College Park, Georgia. Now, one of the things that we are doing this month also, and I want to say this, we're having a press conference at Club E on the 15th of August. This press conference is to talk back to some of these politicians that left this stuff out of the bill. To let them know we need this stuff in the bill before we go to the poll in November. Now it just makes sense. It ain't nothing we asking for that we shouldn't get. These guys that served in Okinawa and Fort Gordon and McCullough Air Force Base, and all these bases that have been contaminated, and we know they're contaminated. Why did Congress choose to leave them off the list? We need to get everybody benefits that's due benefits. We don't need nobody being discriminated against because Congress decided that they didn't have time to put them in the bill. Yeah. They can always go back and amend the bill. So that's what we're talking about. We want to talk with our senators and our congressional representatives to get a bill amended, get this bill amended. They can put in a bill next week. Yep. To get it amended. And we saw how fast they turned it around. We want them to turn it around now to make sure that every veteran and his family that's due benefits are able to get them, because we are not going to stop until we get everybody justice with the benefits. Now let me say this. Caregivers benefits is about to kick in for a lot of people that have been excluded. Caregivers benefits, if you're 70% disabled or more, you can actually get caregivers benefits. You don't have to be 100% to get caregivers benefits. Now, what is caregivers? that's your wife or your loved one that's helping you go to the doctor, prepare meals, doing the things that you need help doing as a disabled person, as a disabled veteran. So caregivers will be kicking in October for that generation, that gap that was between 1975 and 2001. That whole generation was denied caregivers, but now that bill has been amended, and you'll be eligible coming October to get those benefits. So with the economy and the way it is, every penny helps, every dime helps. So let us help you get the income that you have already earned from your honorable military service. Less than 1% of the U.S. population ever served in the U.S. military. So that means that less than 1% are serving for the whole nation. Yep. And there's a contract with the person that served that says that if you incur a injury or disability as a result of your military service, then the government gonna take care of you, make sure that you are made whole. So we make sure that our community is on top of this, and this is not a handout. It's something that you've already earned. And the PAC Act has made it more available. More people than ever right now are eligible for benefits because of the PAC Act, which is mean the Promise Action for Comprehensive Toxic Exposures. In other words, all these toxics that be down through the era, they got a lot of stuff on there for burn pits, for Afghan and Kuwait guys, the younger generation that was exposed to these burn pits, and radiations. Now, a lot of people are exposed to radiation in different parts of where they served at. If you was exposed to radiation and got one of the disabilities that's on this list, you are automatically eligible for benefits. So we want to make sure that you get the benefits. And as VSOs, we don't charge you anything to help you get your benefits. We're not going to get a part of your back pay. That's not the way we work. Those are lawyers and agents that do that. We are doing it because we are veterans helping veterans. We are a non-profit. Now, if you feel grateful after we get your benefit, you want to donate to the call to help us keep on doing what we're doing, we appreciate that. If you don't feel hard to donate, that's your business. We're gonna do this anyway because that's what we was established for, is to help veterans get their benefits. Now, let me say something about the benefits process that you should know about. It's speeded up. It's automation now, meaning that you can file a claim in March of this year, and that claim can be finished in June. Now, I can say this absolutely because that's what happened to me. I filed a claim, a new claim now, in March. In June, it was finished. They went through the process, and I was rated and I granted my benefits in less than 90 days. That's historical. Now with all these other benefits, that means that the help you need is not that far away. But we need help too. We need volunteers. You ain't got nothing to do. You want to come down to Club E and volunteer to do intakes and help us do what we do. We need your help. So you can call in and talk to us too. If you got any questions, call in 470-251-4647. And join the conversation, because we want you to be educated in order to get your benefits in the right way in the shortest possible time. Tony, you want to talk about, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, concerned about those veterans that are seeing the ads on the television, that are seeing the ads over the internet. If you're on the internet or you're on social media, you're getting inundated with information about Camp Lejeune. And what we want everybody to understand, say, yeah, that is an option, but you have veteran service organizations that will do the same thing and not take a portion of your benefits that you're going to receive. And if we want to make that clear, I know it sounds exciting because all the time you hear, particularly these lawyers that are accident lawyers, and they always, said, we won't charge you a thing if we don't win your case. But if they win your case, they will get a portion. Well, we want the veterans to realize that this is something it's almost guaranteed. If you meet the requirements, you are going to get the full amount of that sum. And like Reverend McGee said, we aren't going to charge you anything to assist you in getting your benefits. And so that's what we do as a veteran service organization, because we're here to service veterans to make sure they get their benefits. Like he said, if you desire to make a contribution to our organization, all well and good. But the idea is with the Veteran Service Organization is to help those veterans get their benefits. So yeah, you got to realize the lawyers are those beautiful little shining lights out there that say, we're going to get you this and all of this. But you got to realize, for them to do that work, they're going to charge you. And that's something that we as an organization do not do.
Right. So, and realize this too. It's the same process that the lawyers go through. And as Tony pointed out, this is something that's pretty much assured, so they don't have to do anything but fill out a form and make sure you got your medicals, the diagnosis, and all this stuff is already there, because you've been to the doctor, you got the diagnosis. They done made it presumptive. If you got a diagnosis for hypertension and you served in Vietnam or one of the other places that they have recognized as an exposure location, you're automatically going to get the benefit. Now let me say this. It's a rated benefit, meaning that the rating start at 0%. Now you can get service connected and don't get no money. That means that you got hypertension, but you haven't been going to the doctor for treatment, so you're not going to get a high rating, because they realize that it's not disabling. It's not causing you any real problem. So why would they give you anything other than a 0%? But if you're going to the doctors, and like we said earlier, hypertension causes strokes and heart attacks.
Yes.
So if you done had a stroke as a result of hypertension, you need to get filed, because you are in a higher rating than just having hypertension. You got hypertension with a stroke. That the hypertension that has caused you to have a stroke. So your rating is going to be higher. But make sure that you got these medicals from your doctor before you file your claim. Because now once the VA tell you they'll help you get and they will if they can. They got time. But the easy route is for you to get your medicals yourself and be able to give them to us. When we file your claim, we just file the medicals along with that. So that make that turnaround time easier for the VA, because they got everything they need to have in order to make a decision in your case. Now, we want to look at how do this stuff works. Congress is the entity that sets up the VA. And all the legislation that deal with veterans and their benefits is done by Congress. That means by the senators and the House of Representatives, members that we elect. In November, those elections are coming up for a lot of them. But not just those. The party vote up and down the ballot is on our table this coming November. State elections, some county elections, even some city elections are on the down. What we need to do is look at those people that are doing things for veterans, that are showing us that they care about our service and our benefits. Them the people we need to look at to give our vote to. We can't afford to just give our vote to somebody that not committed to our benefits anymore. We just can't, Tony.
Yeah, it's extremely important for us to do that. As a voting citizen, local elections matter.
Yes.
Those people that are down ballot that you don't think that's important, those are the ones that are making decisions that directly affect you.
And Tony, I'm so glad you point that out, because we were just talking about the different counties in the state that cause veterans to pay property taxes after they're 100% disabled, and they're mixed. It's a mixed bag all across the state. I love my home county because we don't have any property taxes at the 100% level. So we but that should be across the state now.
Yes.
So, but who does that? The state representatives that you elect on the state level does that. They can make sure that you don't have any taxes. Just like they're building all the cemeteries around the state. The state, if you're buried in a veteran cemetery, there's no cost to your family. And you need to look into that because the high cost of funerals these days is crazy, and we as veterans are dying just like everybody else. Yep. And we need to look at how does that benefit fits into your care. You are eligible for burial assistance. Your family is eligible for burial assistance. You need to find out what those assistance are and inform your family of what they are. We got a bad habit in our community being veterans. We don't discuss our benefits with our families, so they don't have a clue. And I think some of us don't want to discuss because we get it when we start getting a check. We don't want to know what we don't know. We don't want to tell the family what their check is all about or how much it is. But your family, the benefits were meant for you, your family, and your community. You need to make sure that everybody that is meant to the benefit is in the fight with you, to make sure that your family knows, because they can write a letter. They help you get your benefits. Anybody in the community, even your congressman can write a letter to help you with your benefits. We got to understand that we are in a very unique position when it comes down to our vote. We as veterans, we are affected by every level of government. We are national or federal government because of our status as veterans, but we live in the local community. So we get taxes or the lack of taxes depending on what county we in. You need to know all about your county commissioners because they can change that. But you got to be the one that raised the issue. We got to be the one that raised the issue about what we want in our community and what we want for the vote that we're going to give these people that are running for office. We want to talk with someone. We're going to be asking some of the people to come on the show so that you can call in and talk to them and vet them to see whether, in fact, this is a person that you want to give your vote to. Because your vote matters. It matters a lot. Tony, you was about to say something.
Yeah, I was about to say, particularly on that subject, if there are elected officials in your area that you're concerned about, give us a call and we will contact them. You can contact them and say, I want to know your opinion on a particular matter. Give us a call and we'll do the same thing. If they, you hear it all the time. Call your congressman about such you get. I can say honestly, I get at least 3 or 4 emails a day about contacting our congresspeople about different things that are going on in the community. The same thing is true. If you're concerned about it, give them a call. Believe it or not, you may find it hard to believe, but you and I elected those people to serve us.
To serve us.
And so that's the important part. If you don't ask for the service, they aren't going to give it to you.
They don't know what you want.
They have no idea that you're having a challenge in a particular area.
And I want to say this too, Tony, with that. We had this problem with the city of Atlanta and with the city of Atlanta never really told us what they was having a problem with, but we surmised that it was because of the National Park Service hadn't gave that final approval for the project. So we got our senators and representatives to write the National Park Service, and several of our members wrote the National Park Service. You can only get what you ask for.
Right.
If you don't ask for it, you ain't gonna get it. So what we're saying about the same thing about the benefits, we got a lot of people, and I know a lot of folks in the city of Atlanta and Fulton County veterans with hypertension that served in one of these locations. You owe it to yourself and your family to get these benefits. Because they have impacted you and your family. They have impacted the community, because when you're sick with certain ailments, you're not at your best.
Exactly.
You're not able to do your best in the community, so that these compensations is to offset what you can't do. It gives you a compensation. You know, you can't buy your help.
Yeah.
But it can buy some help when you need it.
You can buy the help you need to get you to recover. And that's so important. A lot of us don't realize the benefit we get by being in the military and getting those services and being compensated in situations like this. All of a sudden, guess what? Our income is raised.
Right.
You're no longer struggling financially to handle, well, your medical expenses. The medication that you all are taking for anything, not just high blood pressure, but anything is going to be affected by this.
And Tony, I'm glad you pointed out. Medical care is one of the highest costs of family income.
Yes.
If you got a service-connected disability with VA, you ain't got no medical care costs.
Yeah.
And at a certain rate, your wife ain't got no medical costs that won't be paid. Your children ain't got no medical costs. So you see, it's important that you get these disabilities, not just for yourself, but for your family.
Yes.
So that they can go to the doctor if they get sick. You know, so we want to encourage you to look at this PAC Act and see where you fall in place with it, because it got a lot of stuff on there, and it expands a lot of benefits to the community right now. And the most exciting one to me is the hypertension being put on the Agent Orange list, because I know a lot of folks with hypertension that would qualify today.
Yeah.
They qualify today. Yeah. And you know, I know people that done had strokes because of this hypertension. I know people that done had heart attacks because of hypertension. Now the VA can compensate you for that. And we want you to understand, you are not alone. Yeah. You know, you're not alone. That's why we're here every Saturday afternoon talking what we talk, doing what we do. And we just left a meeting with full of guys. We were trying to, we had a fire meeting because we was talking about the PAC Act, and we had people there that just got the benefits, and some guys that they're waiting on their benefits. That is what's happening in our community. We just want to make sure that people know that the benefits are there and get them the help to get the benefits that they are entitled to have. And it's not a hard job for us because we're veterans.
Yeah.
We're veterans. You know, we just have to be disabled veterans, but just because you're disabled don't mean you're unable to do anything. So we take this as a volunteer thing, because we know that a lot of people see us in the community and they say, some come the veteran, you just like you're looking at this Camp June thing, all of a sudden we done got this stuff approved where it got the Congress got to do something. Here come the lawyers. The lawyers coming in now to get to work. You're gonna need someone. Some people gonna need lawyers because they ain't able to get it. They ain't able to communicate. The lawyers can take a power of attorney, and they got investigators that go do stuff that we can't do, but they want your money.
Yeah, they want a portion of the benefits that you're going to get.
Yeah, they want a portion of the benefit. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that's all bad. It's not all bad. I'm just saying, you know, if you don't have to do it, don't do it.
Exactly.
You know, you need to get more of that money into your family budget as you can. As much as you can keep to your family budget, because sometimes you get that little back pay, it pulls you up out of the hole. You know, it pays off some bills that you've been trying to get off, and you know, it just gives you a better sense of comfort in the community, a better quality of life.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that you get your benefits, and the way you get your benefits, if you want to go to the website now, look at the PAC Act. Just type it in, and it's gonna all come up, and it'll show you all the different things that you are able to get now through the PAC Act. And it's not just for a Vietnam generation, it's for every generation starting from the Korea War all the way up to now.
Yeah.
So for the first time in the history of the VA, they got a consistent act that costs all over generational lines, and you know that plays to what we say in our organization. Never again will one generation of veterans abandon another.
Right.
So we got to make sure that we keep the system strong. We keep people wanting to serve in the U.S. military by making sure that they're taking care of the ones that done serve. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. Now let's go to some elements of a claim. What do you have to prove in order to get these benefits? Okay, first of all, you got to have a diagnosis, and that, we talking about hypertension now. Have a hypertension diagnosis. Show that you were serving in Vietnam or one of the locations that they recognize already. You know, we're gonna file beyond that, but right now we want to make sure that you're getting what you got there, because getting them to add that on. They might do some stuff and they might not, but we're going to focus on you getting your diagnosis, making sure that you got evidence that you was in one of these exposure points, and if you got your medicals, you know, treatment records where you've been treated, not just a diagnosis. Go ahead.
Yeah.
They want to talk?
No, they don't want to talk. No,
okay. Okay. So we know.
Turn it off.
No, if sometimes they call this good, but we got to make sure that you get your diagnosis. Your diagnosis. If they're giving you any kind of hypertension medication, you already got a diagnosis. Yeah. It's already a matter of record. Next thing you got to do is get your DD-214 to show where you served, where you was exposed at. Those two pieces of evidence is what you're gonna need in order to get the benefits. Diagnosis, treatment records. Treatment record means you're on a medication. The treatment record will tell people how severe your hypertension is, because you're taking more than one blood pressure medication, your stuff is pretty severe. So, and that's the way they rate you. The rating starts at 0% and goes up to 100%. And in order to get 100%, you got to have a stroke or something like that. And we hope that we ain't trying to get you on 100% like that. So that's not that way. Not that way. But benefits. Now, once you get your foot in the door, other stuff begin to happen with your benefits. So, look at the PACT Act. That's what we want you to do this week. Now we want to turn to another subject that's been really placating me recently, because I got the first claim for suicide related claim. Now, if you got a loved one that's just got out of the military, been in the military, and you know that person is depressed, and he's not really functioning properly in the house, you need to call 911. Mm-hmm. Or you call the suicide hotline at VA. Get your loved one some help. Don't let them do it by themselves. Don't let them go down that road by themselves, because they might not survive. 22 veterans are committing suicide every day. That means that the family is not equipped to help them.
Exactly.
So we got to make sure that you are equipped to help your loved one that's going through this stuff before that person commits suicide. So if you need any help with that, if you got a person in your house that's ex-military and you know that they're having mental depressive problems, please give me a call. Let us help you and your loved one. Call me at 770-895-3260. That's my not my personal line, but that's the chapter line. You call me, I got the phone with me because I'm the president of the chapter. I'm supposed to keep it with me, so I can make sure that the people that's calling gonna get the response that they need, the help that they need. Suicide is not something that just happened overnight. Your loved one is usually trying to communicate to you what is going on with them. Sometimes it's because they just stand off from you, they isolate from you, or they're very hostile or angry all the time, and are depressed, where they're not talking, not engaging in the family the way they normally engage. So they might need to talk to somebody. Don't let them stand there alone. Don't let them go through that to the point that they are not talking to anybody about whatever it is that's going on with them, because suicide is not something that just happened overnight. It happens over a time period where this person reach a point where life no more don't mean anything to them anymore. So they would rather go in darkness than to live in this light. That's a sad place for anybody to be. So don't let your loved ones be there by themselves.
You know, add one thing just to that is that you may observe their actions before they recognize the fact that they have a challenge.
Yes.
And I'm talking to someone who experienced that with his mother, realizing that my son had a problem. You know, and so she insisted that you go to the VA and get help.
Go to the VA. She saw it. And she wouldn't leave it alone. Kind of make me feel like I ain't got no problem. You got the problem. But that's the problem.
Yes.
That is the problem. If it had not been for my mom staying on top of me, bugging me, because she saw me in a way that was abnormal to my previous behavior, and she insisted, "You need some help.
Yeah.
You know, you need to go somewhere." You know, and I finally did. But there are very few people that would be that forceful in telling their loved ones, "Hey, you need some help. Something's wrong with you." But that's the way you got to be in order to save that person's life.
Yeah.
You know,
because we as basic citizens, we don't understand this.
Yeah.
You know, all we do is we see that it's something wrong, you know. And you'll hear people say, "Oh, that boy ain't right."
Yeah.
Yes, he's not right. If his not being right is associated with his military experience, then you got to take that step, or whatever those steps are, to ensure that this young man get the help that he needs.
Yes. And there are more than one organization in the community doing that. You know, and you can just call, you could actually call 911.
Yes.
If you can't remember hotline, call 911 and they will definitely get you some help. Because this is a real problem. This is an issue that you got 22 veterans committing suicide every day. And, you know, I can't imagine what families go through when they are not able to tell their loved ones something is wrong with you. You need to go see somebody.
Yep.
And my mom used to say, not see somebody, you need to go to the VA. she just clearly identified what you just coming back from. Well, you ain't what you not like you was when you left him. So you go to the VA.
Yeah.
You know, because she recognized that the VA is supposed to be there to help us.
Exactly.
And we want to make sure that the VA is there to help us. So we don't have any problem with calling VA. We can call the director. We got direct access to the director because we sit on the Veterans, the Directors Advisory Board. You know, so we are able to talk with the director about the issues that we're having. We are able to talk with the Georgia Department of Veteran Service about the issues we're having. We are here for veterans and Fulton County communities. So if you need help, don't hesitate to call Vietnam Veterans of America. That's what we do. And we do it because we are veterans. And we do it because we care about what happened to us after military service, what happened to our families, what we carry our families through when they don't have any idea that that service would cause the kind of problem that some of us come home with.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of our family do not understand the horrors associated with war. What we see on TV and in movies is over-glamorized.
Yes.
But we have veterans who lived in those situations and everything that had to deal with it on a daily basis. There was no, you know, we have a real challenge accepting the fact that people saw death every day. We don't experience that here. And then we experience every once in a while death. But to see it on a daily basis, it drastically impacts your psyche to the point that a lot of times you're numbed to that. And once you're numbed to that, a lot of times you accept it, okay, this is normal. This is what it's supposed to be, or this is how I'm supposed to feel. And that's not normal. That's not normal. So even though the veteran may not recognize and acknowledge the fact, but you as family members.
And Tony, I want to point this out because you said something that's important. It might not have been combat.
Yeah.
It might have been an illness, or something happened to them during basic training, and they just couldn't tolerate it. They tried to suppress it rather than dealing with it, and become depressed. And rather than talk about the depression or the things that underlie these depression, they get suicidal.
Yeah.
And if we don't notice the change in them, and acknowledge that we know it and that we care about what they're going through, with that we leaving them alone.
Yeah.
And they're struggling with whatever the issue is that got them where they at, and that the depressive disorder that they might be embracing, and the thinking that they might have about suicide,
right.
about ending their lives. So we want to be able to empower the family, first of all, to recognize their loved ones having a problem, and second of all, be have enough heart to get them some help.
Right.
We would just want to do that. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you to be tuned into every Saturday evening. We're talking about the PAC Act again, because now the PAC Act, I see one of our members just got in. Kenneth is always here every Saturday. He didn't know that the PAC Act, he's one of them people that we was talking about the PAC Act need to be amended for, because it covers a lot of these exposure points, but they didn't go to the military bases. Right. Now we wonder why they didn't go on the military base. They don't want to say that the military bases in this country was contaminated. Yeah. But this is just logic. The stuff was made in this country.
Yes.
It wasn't made somewhere else. It was made in America. And they shipped it all over the world.
Yes.
That means that they had people here that picked it up, loaded on the airplane, loaded on a truck, loaded on a Jeep, however they got it to moving toward Vietnam, they did. They deserve to be cared for.
Yes.
And the only reason they're not being cared for, Congress enacted a law that excluded the location. They know it was there.
Yeah.
They know the stuff was there. So we going right back on the 15th of August and tell these congressmen and senators, thank you for what you did, but you didn't go far enough.
Right.
You need to go on and put the other 35 places that got these exposures, so these veterans that's suffering from exposure can get the benefits they deserve.
Yes.
I don't know why they try to make it so complicated. There ain't but a few of us, Tony.
Right.
It ain't like it's a whole bunch of folks, man. We're the smallest minority group in America. Less than 1% of the population you're talking about here. So it shouldn't be that difficult for Congress to go back and straighten this up. Because it's a slap in my face to see, that some of my brothers and sisters are being cared for and some of them are not.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. It's not their fault that Congress sit up there and didn't take in consideration all the evidence that they got when they made this law. This is Veterans Talk. And we want people to understand that we are at Club E, 3707 Main Street. We're set up to help you get the claims in. They put that hypertension is on the Agent Orange presumptive list now. So if you got hypertension and you said in one of the locations, your stuff is automatic. We're not going to wait on the secretary. The secretary said he's going to try to do some of this stuff because guys that already filed, they might not have to be filed again. I don't trust all that.
Yeah. Right.
I don't trust that. We're set up to help you.
Yeah.
So we got to do that. We're set up to help you, and we want to do it. So call me or call Tony. My number is 770-895-3260. Tony.
Mine is 404-822-2056.
Okay, Tony, why don't you just tell them folks they can use that for talk about the songs of the line a little bit, bro.
I like the way you just sort of smooth right on it. But that same number you can call if you want to make a donation to the Sons of Atlanta Vietnam Memorial that we're building in Piedmont Park. That number will get you in contact with me, and I will share all the information I have about you becoming a donor for that particular memorial. One of the other ways, we're going to reward you, or you can reward yourself with a commemorative brick. If you want to be a permanent, and not often people get a chance to be a permanent part of something, but you will become a permanent part of the memorial built in Piedmont Park. You have a choice of how much you want to pay for your commemorative brick, and that price is of course based on the fact of how much information you're going to put on the particular brick. But we have brick prices from $100, which will definitely get your name, rank on that particular brick, all the way up to at least 4 lines where you can get possibly of course your name, your rank, in base of location, or any other thing that has inspired you. Everybody is not including, their military information. They're associated with different groups, and they want their association with that group to be a part of that memorial. So we're asking anyone who's interested in becoming a permanent part of Atlanta's historic Piedmont Park to purchase a commemorative brick and become etched in Atlanta's history. It's not often that you can do that, but here's an opportunity for you to do that, and at the smallest price of $100.
Yes,
that will get you your name in Piedmont Park on this Vietnam Memorial being built in Piedmont Park. So we're asking. Of course, now I have my little rundown that I do because I'm proud of being a native Atlantan. Now, born in Atlanta, yes, I was born at Grady, but where I grew up, my first 6 years was in Palmetto, Georgia. And of course, there are probably some people on this station that go, I know where Palmetto is, but others don't. But one of the things we did in the military was whenever you were around your buddies and everything and hanging out, they always asked, where are you from? Well, if I told them I was from Palmetto, Georgia, they looked at me a little strange, like, okay, now where is that? And so most of the time we would always say, well, I'm from Atlanta, because everybody, well, I won't say everybody, but most people knew about Atlanta and had a general idea of where it is, and knew it was the capital city of the South with some famous people that came from here. So what we would do was always refer to that city as our hometown. And so you would hear guys in conversation say, oh, well, I got a buddy, he was from Atlanta, and they, as if they expect us to know who that person was. At the time, I think Atlanta probably had maybe 2 million people, which is a big difference from what it is now. And I guarantee you, I didn't know 2,000 people. I didn't know probably a couple of hundred people. But anyway, that's how we referred to it because we were proud. We were very proud to say we were from Atlanta. Atlanta's my hometown. And so as a result, we're excited, particularly I am excited about being a part of this particular memorial being built in Atlanta.
And Tony, why is we doing this? People need to know that we're talking about 240 guys that from Atlanta and Fulton County, but these same 240 guys are listed on the National Memorial in D.C. with 58,000 people. What we're trying to do is make it hometownish.
Yes.
So these people came from Atlanta. They came from College Park. They came from Union City and Palmetto. So we want to honor them in their hometown. There's nothing like being honored in your hometown. And these are people that come from from the streets that we walk every day, from the high schools that every year when graduation starts out of these communities, you're going to have some young person going into the military. We want people to understand the value of military service so we make it a hometown thing. When they talk about veterans, they looking at a veteran. Well, this guy here went to the same school I went to. They come out of my community. I know his family. I know his cousin. I might not be able to remember him, but I know somebody that knew him.
Exactly.
That makes you care a little bit more about that person. When you're looking at all 58,000 of them, it's kind of overwhelming, you know. But when you look at them in the context of their hometown, you get a different feeling.
Exactly.
You know, you're gonna have a different feeling from the people that come to the memorial because, well, some kind of way they gonna feel some kinship to this person, you know, because they was neighbors, you know. So we started here in Fulton County because we want this to go throughout the country, making it a hometown kind of thing because, you know, that's where we come from. We come from then go into the military. You talking about, you know, I have been in places when I said I was from Atlanta. Right away, you got a homeboy over here. Come on,
right? Exactly.
And I felt right away taken care of.
Yes,
that
kinship.
That kinship. Right away, when you get to your homeboy, your homegirl, they what you need. They gonna get what you need to try to make you comfortable in where you at. So this is why we brought this memorial local to make sure that people understand and value that military service. Because a lot of people say, "Thank you for your service," but they ain't got no idea of what that service was like.
Yeah.
You know, especially during our generation, Tony, because we integrated the military. A lot of people don't understand that you know, we don't talk about that much, but we integrated the military. White and blacks. When I came out of Atlanta in 1967, I came out of the west side, right? Living on Drummond Street. It was a totally segregated community.
Yes.
The same day I got to Fort Benning, I was in an integrated community. It had never been like that before. It wasn't no easy adjustment. it took some adjusting to take that. You know, it was some fights in the barracks, and, you know, and all kind of stuff. But we learned to live together.
Exactly.
We learned to respect each other. We learned to care about each other. We learned to have each other back. You know, and I tell you what, as a result of our service, Tony, look at the military today.
Right.
It's one of the most diverse and one of the most effective parts of our society.
Yeah.
These young folks, man, they know how to get along. They perform in natural disasters, man, like you ain't never. I watched them kids, man, when they were putting up hospitals for COVID.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, I mean, you know, people get confused. They think that going in the military is all about fighting a war. These folk, we do everything.
Yes.
This 1% do everything.
Yeah. The magic word there, military service. You know, you just don't serve in wars. You serve the country.
In the country.
You're serving the country.
You're serving the country.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this: that U.S. military service, man, the first responded to national disasters all around the world. When I seen countries when they was being tore up by storms and stuff, I saw that Navy and that Air Force get in there and serve those people and rescue those people, man. So I'm so proud to be a part of that community. You know, so that's why we here every Saturday, Tony. we got a pride in it, but we want to make sure that it do what it's supposed to do.
Right.
You know, because it is a part of what we go into the community to do and into the military to do is to become better citizens first. When we come back home, we want to come back home in a better way to make our community a better place. So in the spirit of the Sons of Atlanta, we're going to be going into the community centers, we're going to be going into the libraries with that spirit, that sense of commitment and service, and we're going to teach people about patriotism.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to teach people about the sacrifice of the military. A lot of people don't realize when you go in the military, you're on duty 24/7.
Yeah. Yes.
And you better do whatever they tell you when they tell you how they tell you to do it. If you don't do that, you got a problem.
Yes.
They'll send you home with a bad discharge.
Yeah.
Okay. So we done did it again, Tony. I mean, we get here every Saturday. We get to try to get out information, trying to get people to understand why we're doing this, why we're here every Saturday talking about the same thing, because it matters.
Yes.
Military service matters to us in our community today. And on the 15th, we're going to have a press conference. We're going to be saying some stuff that the whole South need to hear, the whole nation going to hear, because we're going to make a difference in our community. We're going to make sure that these senators understand that my brother was at Fort Benning. Fort Gordon. He did all his service at Fort Gordon. but he was exposed to Agent Orange and Folk Garden, and they're on that list.
Yeah.
They tested it.
They tested that Folk Garden,
Yeah.
and they ain't put it on the list. He got everything, and the VA done said he got everything that we get out of Vietnam.
Yep.
But they want to put him on a pension and not on compensation. Veterans Talk next week.
Yeah.
Next week. I want you to join us here because we fighting for veterans benefits to come back into our community, and we ain't gonna stop fighting until they get there.
Yep.
You know, we're gonna be standing there with a flag on their parade when they come in. We're gonna be saying, "Hallelujah, thank you, Lord," because veterans deserve the benefits they earn. The community, their family deserve the benefits that they earn, and we ain't gonna stop talking about it until they get them benefits. You know, and we're not gonna let the fact that they threw us a bone with this PAC Act. They did, and we're glad of it now.
Yeah.
But they got to know they didn't do it right. They got to go touch all veterans. Did my brother deserve his benefits just like I do deserve mine? Why should they be telling him? Well, they ain't told him. They just ignoring him, right? they said
For 5 years, they ignored him.
for 5 years they've been ignoring him. We still in their face, and we ain't going nowhere.
Right.
So they say we ain't gonna be shortchanged. We ain't gonna leave the store. Next week, folks. Next week. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this Saturday. And we want to thank Status Network, the new way of broadcasting, the new way of getting into the community. And I want to thank our producer, JoJo, that's here every Saturday helping us do the thing that we do. And we just want to thank Status Network today, Tony.
Yes.
You know, and Tish, we miss you today, baby. We want you on deck next Saturday. You know, because we got to have the sisters there that, you know, to let everybody know that the military is not all male.
Right, yeah.
You know,
and that has been our topic. You know, we talked basically about the men in the military.
In the military.
But the women were there.
Tish,
Yes.
baby, I know you're watching. So next week we want you to remind these sisters that they got a role in this too.
Yes.
You know, we got to do that. It's Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. But it's a thing we want you to tune into every Saturday. We are here to give information, encouragement, inspiration. And you know, we get a little humorous every now and then because some things you just have to keep it light.
Yes.
Even though it's heavy. Suicide is a heavy issue.
Exactly.
Homelessness is a heavy issue. But you know what we do? We dealing with that every day, Tony, because we're off the air.
Right.
You know, we're in the community. We getting the calls. We're talking with the peoples. And you know, for the first time in my life, I through an intake, I cried all through the intake because of the pain that suicide cases of, you know, presented to me. It just, you know, to talk to a mother that lost her son.
Yes.
You know, to talk to, you know, and then we got all kind of stuff, man, with benefits that people don't know. I got one case where a young man got killed in an accident. He was 100% service connected, they said, with 3 children. All of them was on his benefit when he retired from the military, right? They ain't getting their benefits yet.
Really?
And their daddy died in 2017. I won't go to sleep until they get the benefits.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're about. We got to make sure that these benefits are given to those that have earned them.
Yes.
And when your spouse or your dad is in the military, he doesn't earn benefits that come to you if you're a child. We got to make sure those children get that daddy's benefits. Next week, folks. Thank you. Thank you, Tony, brother.